Afghans are flooding to Kabul's airport, eager to board flights and escape the country. The Taliban now controls Afghanistan. The nation's president has left, and Western countries are rushing to evacuate people.
If Afghanistan is to be rescued, I truly believe it will be by the women like yourselves here today.
Following the Taliban's return to power, many women in Afghanistan are living in fear.
Women recall how the regime's strict religious laws once halted them from going out alone and barred women and girls from attending school.
Since August 15th, 2021, everything changed. The hopes, dreams, and futures of millions of Afghan women were stolen in a single moment. Their crime? Wanting to learn, wanting to be seen as more than shadows. But these girls refused to disappear. In secret, in silence, they are fighting back. Armed with nothing but courage and conviction, they are waging the most dangerous war of all. The war for their minds, their freedom, and their futures. They risk their lives for the right to read a book, to open their minds, to claim a future they know is theirs. This is not just about education. This is about survival. Their fight is not just against an oppressive regime. It is against the world's silence. And that silence is deafening. This is not just their fight. It is ours. If we let their voices fade, we allow the future itself to be stolen. Afghan women are not victims. They are warriors. Their strength lies in their refusal to accept a fate dictated by fear. This documentary is their battle cry. It is a call to the world to wake up, to stand up, to join them in the fight for the future of Afghanistan. A future written by the hands of its women and girls. Their story is far from over, and we will not let it be.
سلام وقت بخیری دارم خدمت تمام عزیزان که صدای ما شنونده هستن و همچنان بونو اینلای عزیز و بونو بیبی عزیز.
For Afghan women, education was more than learning. It was the only doorway to a life they could call their own. But when the Taliban returned, that doorway closed overnight. Sarah Eskandari.
من که طالبان به افغانستان آمدن در نخست مثلا باورم نمیشه.
I think we failed in all of our major tasks in Afghanistan. In the main counterinsurgency effort, U.S. forces held their own, but never decisively defeated the Taliban. We passed the baton to Afghanistan's army in 2014, but in the end they lost ground, could not succeed, and finally, sensing Western abandonment, or what they thought would be Western abandonment, they quit the field.
یعنی هر کسی که میگفت اصلا باورم نمیشد. تا زمانی که من تلویزیون رو نگاه کردم دیدم واقعا اون آمدن، چون مردم خاطرات خیلی بد داشتن، یعنی خاطرات خوب نداشتن راجع به طالب ها. به اون منظور همگی وحشت زده شده بودن که قسمی که در خبرها در نیوز تمام جهان حتی انسان‌های افراد را دیدیم در اونجا که بالهای طیاره نشسته بودن، به همین منظور که ترس از طالب داشتن.
Education is the foundation of autonomy. And when the doors to schools were locked, the futures of Afghanistan's women were locked away with them. The collapse of the classroom for women is the collapse of society.
صنف 6 به بالا ما نمیتونیم، یعنی اجازهش را نداریم از طرف دولت که ما به درس و تعلیم خود برسیم. و قسم گفت این تغییر ناگهانی که بالای خانواده، دوستان و جامعه ما تأثیر گذاشته همین بود.
For them, the future ended here.
چون شرایط افغانستان را همین قسم ساخته و همچنین بسیاری از معلمین هستند، اشخاص بودن که با پول از امو تعلیمی که میدادن و تدریسی که به شاگردها میکردن از پول از اونمو روزی خود را به دست می آوردن. یعنی اونا هم دیگه اجازه ندارن بسیاریشان که برن و بسیاری معلم ها معاشایشان کم شده تا جایی که معلومات دارم 5000 شده و بعضی از این کارها هم اتفاق افتاده.
Medicine, science, hope, all replaced by the darkness of restrictions.
یکی از آرزوهایی که داشتم موفق شدن و کامیاب شدن در پوهنتون کابل و خواندن طب معالجوی، بخصوص رشته استوماتولوژی را خیلی دوست داشتم بخوانم و روز به او برسم، اما به چنین دلایلی که برای ما اجازه داده نشد من برخلاف علایقم رفتم رشته را خواندم که خودم زیاد علاقه نداشتم، فقط خواستم که مصروف باشم. بعض رشته ها از افغانستان اجازه داده شدن مثل قابلگی، نرسینگ، پولیتیز، فقط همین 3-4 بخش بخونن. خب با وجود این محدودیت هایی که بالای دختران افغان آمده، بسیاریشان را میبینم دختران موفق هستند، دختران شجاعی هستند، مثل کورس های آنلاین، کورس های زبان هستند و او هم بعضی کورس ها بر ما اجازه داده شدن. شخصا خودم بعضی کورس های آنلاین برای خود گرفتیم، کورس های آنلاین زبان بوده، اسپیکینگ بوده، به خاطر رشد خودم، به خاطر از اینکه یک تغییر مثبت نسبت به دیروزم داشته باشم، نسبت به گذشتیم یک تغییر خیلی خوب داشته باشم.
When you silence half a generation, you cripple an entire nation.
او جامعه نصف رشد خود را از دست میده، نصف پیشرفت از او از دستش میره. ولی علم از طبقی گرفته شده که اساس یک جامعه را میسازه. اما مادرش هست که در صورت که باسواد باشه طفل خود را میتونه که باسواد تربیه بکنه و اینجا قسم شرایط شده که حتی ما نمیتونیم که در مقابل از این بگوییم، حتی سوال کردن نمیتونیم که چرا مکاتب بسته است.
My parents has always taught me how to be a woman and a man at the same time. No matter how long it takes, we're going to get our land back. We're going to get our homeland back. And one day, we're going to go back in there and be proud of our nationality, of our culture and traditions.
Without education, women lose their voice. They are treated like currency in a regime that sees them as objects, not people.
As an Afghan woman living under men's rule, it's like watching your future, your whole livelihood be taken away from you piece by piece, just watching your future fade away. Afghan women's dignity is constantly taken away from them, whether it's a decision about their education, their marriage, or even the simplest aspect of their daily lives. Without an education, Afghan women are left completely vulnerable with no choice but to be controlled by men who decide everything about their lives.
As noted by Meryl Streep, in Afghanistan today, even the smallest creatures experience freedoms that women and girls are cruelly denied. Parks, once open spaces for joy and reflection, are now forbidden to them. A stray female cat may bask in the sunlight on a doorstep, but an Afghan woman cannot even step into a park to feel the warmth of the sun on her face. These restrictions are a glaring reminder of a world turned unjustly against them.
The Taliban has twisted Islam to oppress women and to silence women. In the Quran, men and women are seen as equals. And the first message that was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was to Iqra, meaning to read, showing how important education is for everyone, not just for men, but also women. When education is taken away, Afghan women lose far more than just education. We lose our identity, our security, and our hope in humanity and in the world. Rich or poor, without knowledge and independence, we become dependent on others. I'm Sediqa Ibrahimi, and this is my story as a first-generation student. Where I am, I'm very grateful for my parents. I have seen my mom, and I have heard her stories and the tales of what she went through and what my dad went through to get us where we are. My mom was a teenager during the Taliban's first takeover of Afghanistan. And she always told me the story of how her and my aunt, they got beaten by the Taliban because they were without my dad, without a mahram, outside near a shop. And they got beaten up with a chain. And Afghan women didn't have the right to even get out of their house. And my mom was there, my aunts, my grandparents, that's where they lived. And I don't want to make it sound like, Afghanistan is a terrible place to live, because it's really not. It's my motherland. It's my homeland. And I'm very proud to be an Afghan woman. But when you see these groups trying to represent Islam in the wrong way, or trying to take over what it means to be a real Afghan person, it's suffocating.
When you steal education, you steal more than knowledge. You steal strength from families, hope from society, and stability from men. In the recreation centers of Northern Virginia, I met 17-year-old Mohammad Ishaq Kashify, a beacon of hope for the Afghan community and the only brother to 5 sisters. Arriving from Afghanistan in October 2021, he now works through Nova Raft as a translator between English and Dari, while mentoring students in algebra, world history, and the challenges of resettlement. His unique perspective, shaped by balancing tradition and change, offers invaluable insight into how Afghan brothers, husbands, sons, and the overall male community view women's empowerment and education, a narrative essential to understanding Afghanistan's complex story.
Hi, my name is Mohammad Ishaq Kashify, and I'm a volunteer at Nova Raft.
What was it like witnessing the Taliban's closure of girls' schools for you?
I felt really angry. I felt like I want to go help, but I felt like a bird who wants to fly and help those people, but like my legs are tied like a chain to the ground and I can't fly.
School days interrupted. What was the Taliban's takeover like on what was a normal school day for you?
The day the Taliban took over, I was walking to go to school. It was the exams day. We have midterms, and I was walking towards my school, and I saw their cars coming with their guns, and they're pointing guns at everyone and telling them go back to their home. I saw the girls, as I was passing by the girls' school, I saw girls running from school back to their homes with a fear on their face, and it really hurt me seeing them, and I was really scared as well. They might shoot me, or they might shoot someone else. Personally, I do not like to see someone get injured, hurt by someone for no reason, because they were just there.
You have 5 sisters. How do you think their dreams would have turned out if they stayed in Afghanistan after August 15, 2021?
I believe that if my sister stayed in Afghanistan, they had dreams. Like my sister, who's like 2 years older than me, she wanted to be a doctor, and she wanted to be a doctor in Afghanistan as well. I think if she stayed in Afghanistan, she wouldn't be able to accomplish the dreams. Now she's going to college. She wouldn't be able to go to college or even further education to graduate from high school.
Hope for the future. As a brother and son of Afghan women, what would you tell women currently still in Afghanistan?
I want to tell women in Afghanistan not to lose hope. There is always a chance of the current government going down. I believe that after every nightmare, there's gonna be something. Something will happen, and this will be over one day. One day you guys will be able to go back to schools, and I hope that day soon.
این هست که تا دیر وقت اقسام نمیمونه. اون زمانی که یک یک محدودیت که باطل باشه، اصلا در حق جور نبیه، حرف از قرآن و حدیث نباشه، حرف از خدا نباشه، او روز باطل خواهد شد. انشالله باورش دارم.
There's a quote from Imam Hussein alayhi salam that's always in my head that says, dying with dignity is better than living with humiliation. And when I see these Afghan women protesting and risking their life, that just goes through my head all the time on how much they risk their life to have the power to show the world what we are made of.
Hi, my name is Alaa Elhiraika. As a Sudanese American, freshman at University of Pennsylvania, and an avid volunteer at Nova Raft, I've seen the power education holds to transform lives. I created this documentary because I have personally seen the ramifications of lost dreams. Pregnant with me, my mother came to the US in the early 2000s, leaving a life in Sudan where dreams were seldom nurtured for women. When her mother passed, she was expected to take care of her brothers and manage the household, with marriage often seen as the only escape from the confines of circumstance. Coming to America for education and a voice, my mother paved the way for me as the first in our family born here. I feel compelled to amplify the voices of women silenced from even asking a question. Afghan women are being robbed of their power, their dreams, futures, and identities erased. Now is the time to act. This is the moment for action. We urge you to support organizations on the front lines of this fight. The Malala Fund, working to ensure Afghan girls access to education. Women for Afghan Women, protecting and empowering women and girls. The Afghan Institute of Learning, providing innovative educational opportunities. And Code to Inspire, using technology to break barriers for Afghan women. Joint efforts with Sahar Education, building schools and training teachers. The Afghan Women's Educational Center, offering education and advocacy programs. And the Afghan Girls Financial Assistance Fund, ensuring Afghan girls can pursue their education abroad. Partner with Nova Raft, assisting newly arrived refugees in building new lives. And advocate for initiatives like the Alliance for the Education of Women in Afghanistan, which works tirelessly for Afghan women's rights and education. The world cannot afford to turn away. Demand that the United Nations intervene. Support these organizations, amplify their voices, and take a stand for Afghan women and girls who are being silenced.